Suicides are something that have been increasing constantly, right? But and what are some of the reasons why this is happening? I think there's a lot to do with media that's playing a role. People also, because social media has become so much more active today, that people have been constantly having the sense of comparison with people who are on social media. And there's a sense of low self esteem that is stepping in. There's a lot of self doubt that is coming in. There's a lot of peer pressure that is coming in. And I think social media is playing a very strong role in this. Also, somewhere the upbringing that has happened through the years, maybe the person's base foundation is not very strong, because of which they are not being able to cope up with the present life situations that are going on, right? So there are various reasons why this is happening. Of course, there's a lot of comorbidity of health issues that are there. So people who are going through depression, people who are going through anxiety, people who are going through bipolar, these they are unable to cope with these situations because we've not been trained in a way where we would know how to cope with this, right? So there is a slight lack in our childhood training, I think, which is very, very essential and important. So, however, but everything said and done, in reality, this is something that is rising. And as people who are, especially because you guys are from road track, I think you're a responsible youth who has a lot of role to play in spreading awareness of suicide prevention. So, but firstly, how do you even know that a person has suicidal thoughts or what the person is really going through? Okay, so the three main things for you to watch out are right there on your screen. Is the conversation topics that the person has. If the person is having constantly negative talk with you, constantly having talks of helplessness or hopelessness, then that's a sign that you must attend to. Okay, second is their feeling. So they're so like I said, constantly feeling hopeless, constantly feeling sad, constantly feeling like nobody is there for me and I'm all alone, is something which makes a person really get into their shell, and they're unable to then handle the whole situation. Also, a lot of change in behavior. So, earlier they used to love doing things that would make them happy. They were more happy-go-lucky people, or at least even if they were an introvert, they would at least involve themselves in activities that are happening. However, this person then starts isolating themselves. They don't look at activities happening so much, and they're more getting aloof. They're getting away from their actual personality as individuals. That change in behavior is something, if you notice, then these are signs that really need to be taken care of. Okay, so these are main signs and symptoms that are there. So, like I said, that their conversational topics are more around, I don't wish to live, there's no purpose that I have to live. Or there's also a lot of regret that they have within themselves of things that they've done in the past and they are not able to now undo. So there's a lot of guilt and shame in them related to past experiences or past behavior that they've had. Also, being a burden to others. So there's a constant feeling like I've heard a lot of youth, because I work closely with the youth as well, and youngsters often have this feeling that what, I'm useless. I'm of no benefit to my parents. I'm a burden to my parents. They've been taking care of me throughout, and somewhere now I feel like this has reached a stage where I can't take it anymore, and I want to relieve them of this burden. If you hear somebody talking these kind of statements, then it's definitely something that needs a lot of attention. So make sure that you are giving your attention to these kind of people who really, really need your attention at that time. So in terms of feelings, like I said earlier, it's a lot of emptiness, hopelessness, or a very trapped behavior. They basically feel like they're not able to get out of the situation that they are in right now. They feel like, oh God, I'm just trapped in this place which is too tough for me to get out, right? So they kind of get their own self into a trap which is actually not even there, but that's the feeling that they have, that they are caged in this situation and they're not able to set free from there. Also, a lot of extreme sadness, anxiety, and agitation that they feel. Unbearable emotional and physical pain. Remember that our mind and body both are connected. So, if you know there is a person who's going through these kind of emotional outbursts or is going through a lot of emotional trauma, then there's going to also be a lot of physical pain that will follow along with it. Okay, so that's there, and then changing behavior. So, like I said, they get isolated or they start giving away their things. I think this is a very important sign that I missed is that they start giving away their valuables. So they start sharing their clothing with other people, or they'll have a lot of fancy stuff which they are very very close to, but they'll still start giving it to other people. Also, taking dangerous risks. So they'll go for sudden, a person who's generally not, who is not so adventurous in life, or somebody who's not a risk taker. But this person will suddenly start taking risks, will suddenly start going for adventure, will suddenly start doing absolute different things, will start using drugs a lot, will start having alcohol more often than they used to, because that's their way of in a way escaping the reality and getting into this zone where they don't want to live at all. Okay, so also eating or sleeping more or less, or they'll keep sleeping for hours together, they'll have absolute loss of interest in whatever they wish to do. And also researching about ways to die. So, I have had one of my clients long back, I think about 2 years back, who had eventually committed suicide. I had counseled him about a year before he committed suicide, and for that 1 year, I was not much in touch with him. But later on, when I heard about him committing suicide, I just happened to go through his Facebook, and that's when I realized that this guy had already been researching a lot on emotional breakdowns, had been watching a lot of videos connected to people who've gone through a lot of trauma. His history said a lot about him researching on how does one commit suicide. So generally you will see of people searching for these things where they look for ways of how they can die. Though it's not the most easiest thing to do. Trust me that when a person thinks of suicide, it's not the most easiest decision they are taking, but it's also a very impulsive decision that happens. So I think, but still, we need to be aware. If you see any of these first um, signs and symptoms in terms of conversations, feelings, or changing behavior, remember that these are the ones below that you need to keep track of. If in any way you see them having these signs and symptoms, then something that needs attention. So in this scenario, what do you do? Okay, how many of you have come across friends or family who you've seen talking in this sort of language, or you've seen their behavior changing all of a sudden, or you've seen that they have topics that they're talking around at that time. Anyone who's had people around them with this sort of showing these sort of signs and symptoms, or anyone who's faced it themselves. Let's keep this as a very safe, open space for us to speak up if we've ever felt like that. Let me tell you that about 3, 4 years or a couple of years back, when I was young and things weren't going my way, there has been a month when I was going through a breakdown, and I felt like I don't want to live. Not that I ever took any action towards it or ever went beyond that, but I've had those thoughts, and when things don't go right, you do tend to have those thoughts. But it's very important for you to seek help at that time. Because I had somebody by my side at that time who made sure that is there as a listener to me, helped me understand of what is happening, and though at a very mild level it was there, but it did help me come out of the situation. So I think everybody has their own ups and downs, and we all feel that. How much ever we will deny that, it's a one fraction thought that may come to you, right? But remember that you don't have to let that thought grow further. Even if it is your loved one who's suddenly having that thought, remember to be there for that person so that that thought doesn't grow further. Okay, and this is, and the youth today for that matter, I think, is facing this the most. I have so many youngsters who keep telling me that it's useless, I don't feel like living anymore. And it really takes me a lot to bring them to a stage where they are then able to really understand of what they're going through and get themselves out of this situation too. My friend, but he is there's somebody who says that my friend has had these kind of signs and symptoms, but that's for mostly for a love relationship. Yes, I think love. I mean, I am sure you're calling it a silly reason, but let me tell you that for a lot of people, that may be the reason why they feel like that. And it's not just maybe your friend, but a lot of people who are here watching this also. Some of them may have had this kind of feeling, when it comes to their relationships. And because relationships are somewhere, people are taking relationships as everything in their life. Remember, relationships are a part of your life and not everything in your life. So make sure that you don't give all your life importance and attention to your relationships only. Remember, you have a relationship with yourself first, guys. Whether it's about depression, whether it's about anxiety, whether it's about suicidal thoughts, remember that you come first in all of these situations. Then comes any other person. So don't, I would say, start giving yourself more importance, because that is the most important thing in your life, which is to value your own self. Because unless and until you don't value yourself, there is nobody else who's going to value you too, right? So you got to stand up for yourself sometimes and be like, okay, you know what, I'm taking this step back. No violence, no nothing, but just a silent, a more mature decision that, what, I'm going to take my step back in this situation, and I'm going to look at myself first of why am I having to go through this? What is it that I'm not doing to have a different perspective in life, or to have a different feeling that I'm living in life than what I'm living right now? Okay, so hello, Rotarian Deepak. Yes, supporting hand is a must. Very well said, Vidhi. You can write your questions here in the chat box. Okay, I have a friend. He's very outgoing, extrovert, and friendly. Due to poor performance in academics, he slipped into depression. I've seen a drastic change in his behavior, being silent, refraining from socialization. Shashank, I'm glad that you noticed this change in your friend. Firstly, I think that is something that we all need to have an eye for. We all need to have that heart to be able to, notice the change in our friends when it happens all of a sudden. Now, what do you do in this sort of a situation, Shashank? What's very important is for you to be there for your friend. Make sure that you be a very great listener. I think the most important for anybody in today's time is to be a good listener, because most often we all know what needs to change in our lives. But however, because somewhere we don't have people who can listen to us, we don't have people who we can open our hearts out to, it becomes very, very tough for us to sail through the ups and downs, right? Ups and downs are a part of life. Let me tell you, you cannot skip through it. Life always is going to go in this wave. Okay, there are going to be times you're going to be on a high, and there are going to be times you're going to go on a low. And that's just very natural. Life is never going to go on a continuum and just go upwards. If it's going upwards continuously, remember there's also going to be a very big drop there. So the better it is, let it go a little wavy up and down, and that's completely fine. In my opinion, that's just a natural way of living. Okay, but however, you need to also remember that when it comes to your friends and family, it's very important for us to become very, very feeling centered, very, very heart centered, where we understand people. There's come a time today where, because our external environment is so demanding, I think somewhere we've gotten into this space of trying to prove ourselves at every moment, and that has somewhere brought in a lot more of mental health concerns to rise. All the people who are having any sort of suicidal thoughts also, please check with yourself, are you trying to prove something to somebody in your life? If that's one of the core reasons, please seek help for you to come up with. Remember, you are here to live the best that you can in your life and not to prove yourself to anybody else. Okay, so Shashank, if you can, please be there for your friend. I think he really needs to, and sometimes just having a good listener can help you deal with half your problem. And if you feel that even beyond that you're not being able to handle it, and if he has any kind of suicidal tendencies or thoughts, please redirect him to a professional psychologist or a counselor, because then they'll be able to take care of it further. If found, how to make them open up? Yes, Akshay, I'm going to be talking about that as we go further. Not much of a suicidal thought, but yes, big time anxiety because of a relationship breakup. A friend of mine has suffered a lot, but yes, seeking help is a must. The question what arises in his mind was friends can be judgmental too. How can one seek help without having a thought that a friend is helping now, but later he wants me to thank him till the rest of my life or be judgmental to another level. Wow, that's a very different perspective and an absolutely live scenario, right? When you confide into a friend, of course, there is a tendency of the friend getting judgmental first. So we always have this doubt of what if my friend's going to judge me on that, right? And then the second step is where, if you seek any sort of help, or if your friend is helping you in any way, then there is a lifetime give back that you need to give to your friend for being there for you. I completely understand this kind of situation. But remember to create friends around you who you are there for and are there for you. Let it be a two-way process. In today's times, I think it's important to have that support of people around us. As much as we give them, let them also give it to us, and let it be a two-way process. Okay. And also again, if you're going to be having this guilt that you need to keep thanking your friend all his life for that, then in that case, I would say that you need to check with yourself whether again are you trying to be a good friend? Are you trying to prove to be a good friend by thanking him or her constantly again and again? Okay, so here what happens is that either the other person is demanding too much, and if the other person is demanding too much, then you need to sit and have a very heart to heart talk with that person that you're extremely grateful about it, but at every step, him or her telling you about this is proving to be even more harmful towards you, right? So, what's important here is that we miss to communicate. We have a lot of assumptions, we have a lot of preconceived notions that we develop towards each other, and there's a lot of communication gap that happens with time. Remember that we are all human beings, we are all very emotional, we are all also empathetic to a certain level. Only if we communicate clearly and openly to each other. So find a space where you can communicate your heart out to your friend, and I think that will make it easier for you to come out of that judgmental level with the person, and also help you move ahead at a more mature level with your friend. My friend has also faced so down because of her parents' pressure for studies. She tells that she can do, but the hopes and pressure of her parents is making her feel so low. Okay. All right. So I see that, a lot of parental pressure is something that a lot of you deal with. I think what's important is that, yeah, the older generation, I think, had this thing of parent and child, and there has to be a line drawn between them. But parents today have become comparatively much more open because of the exposure that outer life has been giving us, or the growing scenario that is there outside is helping us, in some way. Where it's important for you to understand that as you grow and you become a young adult, you need to make your parents your friend in a way. And that initiative does not have to happen only from your parents, it has to happen equally from your end too. The more you joke around, the more you educate them about what is happening outside, the more with time they will start understanding you. Let me tell you, I come from a Marwadi family, okay? And it was very, very tough for me to be able to even do my masters at a certain level. I had a lot of family members who were objecting of it, And when I started working, there were again a lot of family members objecting over it. There were people talking about it. I decided to become an entrepreneur and take my journey ahead. I decided to travel, and of course, there were again objections towards it. But remember that if you can get your parents' confidence that whatever you're doing is for the benefit of yourself and your society, you'll see that with time parents start understanding you. Okay, initially of course there are going to be those little hurdles or little challenges that you will face, but don't lose your calm. Okay, don't lose your calm. These are just passing things. They are basically a wind that is passing by. Don't let that wind shatter your home. Be a little more patient, work on yourself. It's important for you to give that time to yourself to get more clarity in your head. What's important is to get clarity of where are you heading. If you are clear, you are confident, remember that there is nobody on the outside who can touch you unless and until you allow them to touch you. So important for you to be first strong enough internally, and then whatever you do outside is secondary. How many of you actually focus on working on your own self? I have seen most often when people are having problems in their relationships also, it's always a blame on the other. That, that person is causing a lot of pressure on me, or that person is just not ready to understand me. I would say, what are you doing because of which that person is giving that sort of a reaction? Why don't we introspect within our own selves of what is happening? And then you will see that the outer environment gradually starts changing, because whatever is happening in your external environment to some extent is responsible, sorry, you are to some extent responsible for what is happening in your external environment, because your internal environment is what decides your responses, your actions, your behavior, and in turn you get a response from your external environment again. So are you guys really working on that internal environment is very, very important. Okay, I have a lot of questions that have come in. How are introverts supposed to deal with this thing? I mean, they don't open up easily. Let me come back to that. Um, Okay, so you've asked me some questions which are, I'm going to be talking about that, so I'm not covering that right now. I'm just taking 2 minutes to go through the questions. What if we can't find someone to or trust to share our feelings? So remember that there are a lot of portals right now, guys, which are providing free sessions for you. Please go and grab those portals. In fact, with my team, I'm also in discussion of starting support groups, which would be free of cost to a certain level, or there'll be a monthly fee, a very small fee attached to it, just so that we have your commitment to have support groups for people who are going through depression, or who are going through anxiety, or who are going through relationship issues, because these are some of the most common things that we are listening to. We are going to be coming up with support group sessions, so please stay in touch with us on Instagram. We are on Instagram on Out Aloud Official. So if you go there and keep following the page, so that we can keep you updated of as and when we come up with support group sessions, or we come up with programs which are there, you could definitely seek help from us. I have a team with me who's going to be working around it also. Can introverts become extroverts? Is extroversion by birth, or can be developed depending upon situation? Akshay, that's pretty much not a question of this session, but definitely situation. So there are two bases that contribute to us as a personality. One is our something that we are born with by birth, and one is what the environment makes us, right? So one is nature and one is nurture. So it depends on your upbringing as much as it also depends on what is your personality by birth. Okay, so there have been a lot of people, for that matter, who are introverts, however, have become extroverts, but a part of them is always still an introvert. So they may be a more of an introvert personality in certain areas of their life, and they may be extroverts in certain areas of their life. Basically, we call them ambiverts, so who are introverts as well as sometimes extroverts also. Um, Yes, Rajesh, I'm going to come to your questions. Is the reason why I have not answered it, because it's there as a part of my presentation. So, what do you not say? Now, very important is that a lot of people use some statements which you need to avoid when a person is going through or has suicidal thoughts or tendencies. Okay. Here, what's important is, so some of the pointers that you see on your screen right now is that don't have. Okay, 1 minute. Is that going on? No. Mm, are you able to see my screen by any chance? I'm not sure. Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it also moving? Because what I see from my other phone is it's not moving.
No, ma'am, it's not moving.
It's
No,
not
it's not
moving.
moving.
Yeah, I think I need to stop and start again. Right. So, yeah, what not to say is something that's very important. Is uh, a lot of people reject them having these thoughts. So there are times when a person is saying that, I don't want to live and I'm absolutely, on this verge where I want to just commit suicide. A lot of people say, like, don't say that, that's not the right thing to say. And these are negative thoughts. Try and avoid them, distract yourself. We've all gone through this, come out of it. No, that's something that you need to avoid telling them at that moment. Okay, when they are in a much better space, it's once fine for you to say something like that, that now why don't you involve yourself in other activities or something like that. But at that moment when they are breaking down in front of you and trying to tell you something, do not reject what they are feeling. Okay. Also, don't tell them things like suicide is never an option. You have everything. You have no reason to do this. You know what I went through. This is just a phase. I've gone through the same thing. Do not start your own story at that time. Like I said, remember you need to be a very good listener. This is the time when you will actually develop your skill of listening, which is very, very essential. Okay. All right. So now, what do you say? So I've told you what not to say. In turn, what do you exactly say? What's important is to talk to them very compassionately. Be a very, very good listener. Empathize with them. Be there with them. Sometimes just if it's somebody who's close to you or somebody who you know really well and you feel safe with that person, just hold their hand and just be there with them. Just hold them and let them know that you value them and that you are here to listen to what they are going through. Let them vent out. Sometimes just venting makes half the work done. So for them, it becomes far more easier to deal with whatever they are going through because they've been able to vent out whatever they have been suppressing deep inside. Also, there are times when you've not been there for them, and that is something that, especially in relationships, a lot of times when one partner is going through a real breakdown, the other partner has somewhere not been there, or there is this sort of regret that it's maybe because of me that this person is going through something like that. At that time, don't overdo your actions or anything, but do express that I'm sorry that I've not been there for you, but now I'm going to make sure that I'm there at every step, every stage for you in whatever forms that I can at my best. Make sure you don't overcommit to them, you don't undercommit to them. Neither of the two is good for them, right? Make them feel loved and valued and needed. I think in today's generation, that one thing that every person is seeking for is a little bit of love, a little bit of value, and a little bit of listening. I think only if we can become human beings and not machines, this will bring us back. We've somewhere become machines who are just there to prove something, who just want to do something, and there comes a point when we get so saturated that we want to give up. Why can't we in turn become humans who are valuing each other and moving together? I think that has made a huge difference in my life when I decided that, what, it's good to collaborate. When I started my journey as a psychologist, and I started it with collaboration with two of my friends, but with time it didn't quite match. Our pace of working wasn't matching, so we decided to move away, and get into our own zones that we wanted to specialize in. But throughout my journey, there's one thing that I value the most is to keep collaborating with people. How much can one do alone, right? You need people to work with. You need people when, imagine one person brainstorming on something and then you have three, four people together brainstorming on the same thing. Isn't that a brilliant way of working? Can't we have more people that we can collaborate with rather than compete with? Collaboration is way more beautiful than competition, remember. Even if it is your parents, your siblings, your partner, do not get into a competition to prove anything to them. Do not get into this space where you are trying to lead compared to the other. Why don't you become partners in this journey where you do things together? Because at the end of the day, what's going to matter is that you had a great time through the whole journey of living your life. And not that whether you won or you failed, it's going to be of how many happy moments you lived, right? And that is what you need to give more power to rather than competing with another person or trying to put somebody else down or not being there for anybody. In one word, I'll tell you is we need to become more compassionate human beings. Okay, and if you can through this lockdown, I think that's one thing which has got me a step further in my life is to become more empathetic towards people, to become more compassionate towards this towards people. You know, this profession any which ways makes me more and more compassionate towards people. But in this lockdown, it's not just compassion towards people but compassion towards my own self also, and that I think is a brilliant feeling to have. You know, when you become more loving towards yourself, you will see that you attract more and more love from others. I've had constant messages coming in, you know, on our Outer Loud official Instagram page where they're like, you know, my partners don't understand me and I'm completely in this situation where I'm going through a toxic relationship or I'm going through a lot of ups and downs and I don't know how to handle it. Remember, you come first. And first, please get yourself in place before you try to mend your relationship with anybody. Okay? If you are aligned and you are more in space, then you'll be able to mend your relationships with other people. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you that you must do on a regular basis is to start journaling. Okay? Journaling really helps you get more clarity to your thoughts. So, all the people who are feeling confused, who are feeling lost, this whole lockdown situation has changed their life upside down. Please sit and write down what you're going through, what you're feeling, what is it that has changed so much in your life. You'll get more clarity of what way to go ahead in. Okay. Along with that, also remember that if none of these things are helping or whatever you're doing for somebody else, remember to redirect them to a professional and to seek help as soon as possible. Do not wait for something very major to happen. The sooner you can guide them towards seeking help, I think it will be much more better and that person will be pulled out from that situation way more faster before any major activity happens. Okay. Also, there are a lot of helpline numbers on your screen right now. Take a screenshot of these numbers if you have to. Keep them handy always because you never know who might need it around you. Somebody you might come across just randomly, or you don't know who you come across at any given point in time. And we must be equipped enough to have this at our disposal so that we can make sure that we help the person out. Now, at the same time, so these are a few details about me. If you need to note down, you can again take a screenshot of this. All in all, what I want to say is that yes, depression and anxiety have been on the rise, and in turn lead to a lot of suicides happening in the current situation. Now, how do you deal with anxiety or how do you deal with depression? If they are at the mild form, something that you can work on your own. But if they're getting into anywhere beyond the mild form, which is majorly from sadness to a few symptoms of depression, but if it's going anywhere beyond, if it's going to the moderate level or the severe level, and you feel that this is consistent for more than 15 days that it's happening, please consult a professional, guys. Do not hesitate. Like I said, there are portals that are giving you free counseling sessions. There are also, people who are providing sessions at very low cost. For example, I have members in my team right now who are providing sessions at low cost. because we understand the situation right now, and it's not the most easiest for everybody. However, everybody is putting their effort and time into it and energy into it, which is very important for us to value at the same time. So, if you need help, remember that you can get in touch with us on the Instagram inbox. You just need to type Out Aloud Official and you will find us there. You can get in touch with us from there also. And remember that even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. So, if any day that you're feeling very, very down, remember that it's going to pass at the end of the day. It's not going to remain consistent. And I think this has been my mantra of life. That's the reason why I've shared it here is that this too shall pass. Because when I've gone through ups and downs ever in my life, I'm as human as you are. And if I've gone through ups and downs in my life, there's one quote which is always in my mind is that this too shall pass. You know, I sometimes when I was in college and I used to have exam pressures sometimes, and I said, why do I need to give exams? You know, I disliked exams so much. But I always had only one statement in my mind is, oh my God, this after 10 days my exams are going to be over and what am I going to do after that, you know. So I always had this of planning once that is going to pass, what am I going to do? And I think that helped me cope with this situation so much better, you know. That was my coping mechanism. It may be very different for you, it may be very different for somebody else, but I was somebody who used to plan my 11th day, you know, after my 10 days of exams. So I think that has really, really helped me to a very great extent. Let me go back to the chat box. Where are you? Yeah. So that has really, really helped me to a very great extent, you know, to get to where today I'm sitting here and sharing things with you. Only I could do it because um, I've gone through ups and downs myself, come out of it strong, and now sharing with you my experiences that I've had. I have somebody. Okay, I have a lot of questions. Okay, guys, wait. Give a hold to your questions because there are too many. Um, what if someone has? Okay, have I missed that? What about people who don't express who don't like to express. Okay. So one very good thing that you can give them is if there are people who don't like to open up to somebody else, ask them to journal their thoughts down. Okay. Remember that thoughts are a form of energy in our body. If you let that out to a very great extent, the negativity of those thoughts reduces. So, Anjali, if you can ask them to journal these thoughts, I think that will really, really help. Ask them to have their own personal diary where they just scribble, you know, whatever they are feeling. It doesn't matter whether it's the worst language they're speaking in or anything. It doesn't matter. No one's there to judge it. Okay, ask them to write it, and if they can just tear it and throw it. You know, after that, I think that is a very good coping mechanism for a lot of people. What if someone has self-harming tendency and seeks therapy, yet can't stop self-harm? Can ask that person needs to go to a psychiatrist because now it's reached a level where just therapy is not going to be enough. They will also need medication. What if we can't find someone to trust? I think I already answered these questions. Um, is suicide not a kind of running away from reality to face? Please highlight. I think this is a very controversial topic to discuss on because suicide in itself is a very impulsive decision. Okay, so at that time, a lot of people are very impulsive and they're not even sure of what they're doing, but they end up doing it, and that's where it happens. So let's not get into proving whether it's a cowardly act or it's an act that just happens. I think that's not as important as helping somebody who's going through it and helping them come out of it, or not as important as if something like this has really happened, then being a support to the family members of that person. Okay, so I think let's not get into this controversial topic because to me it has no value whether I want to label it as the person running away from it or anything because it's happening at the end of the day. There are people who are giving up lives because they've gotten so hopeless, they've gotten so helpless. I would rather prefer putting in my time and effort in helping people find hope in their lives than proving that you know you're wrong and you're taking a wrong decision. I think it's just a waste of time to do that. Logical or emotional, which is important for life? I think a balance of the two is important. So I don't know who this is, an unknown sender. A balance of both is essential in today's world. You can't be either extremes. So if you can strike a balance, it's great. Stress and anxiety is something very common nowadays, and to certain level, both are good. But what about having continuous negative thoughts? How to break this circle? I have seen this continuous negativity turning to depression, and one actually doesn't even know that he or she is depressed. Yeah, very, very important. And I think remember that the symptoms of depression are there on Google. The reason why I didn't put it in my presentation is because that's a complete separate topic that I take up also. But it's there on Google, and if you see that you have at least 5 or 6 symptoms, like for example, you're not having a good sleep, or you're oversleeping, you're isolated from your friends, your appetite has gone, to extremes, either too much or too little, or you have completely, like I said, isolated from your friends, or also if you are having complete insomnia, that is sleepless nights that are happening, your physical body, or you're feeling chronic fatigue that is happening to you, you're having constant negative thoughts. In that case, you need to, and if this is happening consistently for 15 days, okay, back to back, where you're having this feeling of hopelessness, you're having a lot of palpitations, you're having a lot of all the other symptoms that I mentioned already. I don't want to repeat them. But if you're having any of these consistently for more than 15 days, guys, it's time to seek help. Don't take it lightly. Don't wait for things to get worse. It will take you more time to cope from it also. So the sooner you seek help, the sooner you can come out of it, because this is a lot to do with your thought process, a lot to do with your patterns that we build, the neurotransmitters that we have, or the pathways that we build, the thinking pathways that we build need attention and need to be changed. So when you seek help, your therapist will help you form new pathways, which in turn will help you come out of the situation as well. When to improve, how to deal with people who give a lot of mental and physical torture. Um, Remember that you need to take certain you need to stand up for yourself sometimes, if that's something that's been happening for a very long time, and learn how to tackle these people. If you can seek help and understand how you can tackle the person on the opposite end. Remember, there's nothing that we can change about the other person unless and until that other person is ready to seek help too. But you definitely have the choice to change yourself. You definitely have the choice to make your responses different, which in turn will lead to a different response from the other person too, right? So if you can get hold of that, I think it's very, very important. Okay, so someone's asking me, Akshay is asking me, difference in solitude and loneliness. A very nice question. Can we cure loneliness and negativity using solitude? I think when a person starts living solitude in their life, negativity and loneliness automatically goes away, because you can't experience solitude without with loneliness and negativity, right? Solitude in itself is a feeling, or I can say an experience that you live, when loneliness is not something that you can feel with solitude. It's either of the two that you're going to feel. Learn to be with yourself. When you start loving yourself, you start living more in solitude than loneliness. Loneliness is when you're always craving for somebody else to give you validation, somebody else to, approve of whatever you're doing, somebody else to give you love. I think if you just start loving yourself for who you are, remember, God has given all of us something unique, has created all of us unique. Why don't you actually introspect, look within to find those beautiful things in you which you could start loving about yourself? We are always looking for good in others. We are always somewhere, trying to see of this, but you know what, this person is doing this good thing for me and I cannot leave this person. I would say, why can't we look for those 3, 4 things within our own self, which is going to keep us above any other person in our own lives? If you start doing that, you will see that life becomes far more easier to live. You start living solitude where everybody else is a luxury in your life and not a need. Okay, remember that you got to be your only need first thing foremost. And I always, and somebody has asked me also how to raise self-esteem. I think what's very important is to stand in front of the mirror every day and thank God for him created this amazing human being who has been with you for some people maybe 20 years right now, for some 40 years right now. I mean, whatever age you are at right now, this human being, this soul, this body has been with you for so many years, right? I don't think you've lived this long a relationship with anybody who, because of whom you're upset today. So why don't you give that much importance, love, and care to yourself rather than seeking it from somebody else? When you start valuing your own mind and body a little more, you will see that other people will start valuing you too. Okay, because remember that other people are somewhere a mirror of our own self too. Okay. How to balance between family likes and dislikes and mine? Make your parents your friends. Trust me. Make your parents a part of whatever you are doing. And I think that works brilliantly. The thing is that we always have this preconceived notion that my parents are not going to be okay. Yeah, some things parents definitely are not okay with because they have their own mindset. But you can definitely make an effort to help them look at life in the present. If it's something that you're doing for the good and it's helping you grow, then why not make them also look at life in a different way, right? They're living from a generation where they were brought up maybe, about 30, 40 years back. But currently, it's different. And until and unless you don't make them experience life in the present, how are they even going to like what you like? So I think, a little effort, like I said, change yourself. If you have been distant from your parents for a very long time and haven't been able to build that bond, make an effort to build that bond. Sometimes just joke around with your parents. I think parents are equally looking for love, affection, and some sort of acceptance from their children also, right? And the moment you give your parents that love, affection, and acceptance, you will see that your parents will automatically become pro you. I can tell you with our own example as sisters. I think that's one thing which has really, really made a huge difference to my family culture, because I think that's the little effort, as sisters, all of us have done little by little to make that difference in the thought process that our family has had. Because, as I said, I come from a Marwari family where things are pretty much not the modern way. They are pretty much a traditional way. But it's changed now. It's far different. There is so much more knowledge, there's so much more education on what's happening outside, that it becomes easier for parents to accept what we are doing as well. Mr. Deepak, I think I've already answered your question on this. I'm not going to repeat it again. Um, Thank you so much, guys. Don't you think solitude can make us to stay away from people, like the person starts hating society? And oh no, that's not solitude then. Solitude makes you a more loving person. Solitude makes you be with yourself, but at the same time makes it easy for you to be with others, because you're so full of yourself that anybody who comes into that space with you, you want to share. You just want to share. You just want to be with that person and enjoy the moment. As soon as that person leaves, you're again back to yourself. So, yes, loving their own company, they definitely love their own company. But if you are on the right path of solitude, you will love others' company as well, because you will just see others as a part of you and not somebody who's separate from you. You told about making parents friend, but what if they stick to their own perspective? Anjali, I'm guessing you're a Jain. That's what your surname says. Connect with me. I'll help you out definitely, because even though they stick to their own perspective, you can definitely try other ways of changing it. Okay, so there's not always one way. There are various ways of getting through the same thing, and try different perspectives. If they are sticking to their one perspective, somewhere you are also sticking to one way of relating to them, which is not very good. So try and change your ways of relating to them. When someone commits a harm to me, the thought brings emotional pain. How to overcome such psychological pain where I cannot undo the past. Very important, Satyafi, is to accept whatever has happened in the past. Stop feeling regret towards it because we cannot undo the past, right? Even if it's been the worst thing that you have done. Remember, you are human and you can make mistakes. Don't punish yourself for that mistake. If you have to be punished, let universe or life decide that for you. Don't do that to yourself. By somewhere, you firstly putting yourself down in it is causing more harm to you, and that in turn is going to give the freedom to the other person also to harm you. Okay, if you're going to stand up and say that, you know what, this was me in the past, I did wrong, I absolutely understand that, and I'm sorry if I've done wrong also, but however, I'm not the same person today, and I wish to live in the today. If you are happy to be in my journey of today and tomorrow that I'm going to live, you're happy to be here. If not, you can definitely choose to leave. I think it's time to be assertive sometimes. Why is it so tough for us to become assertive? If you become assertive and take charge of your life, you will see that you become a far more happier person. Okay, don't wait for other people to take charge of your life and decide what you're going to feel. Take charge of your life. Like I said, in a very calm, mature manner, talk to the person, tell the person that, whatever it is said and done, this is what I am, take it or leave it. Okay? Not in the literal sense, don't say it in this language, but what I mean is in your head it should be that. Because we all make mistakes, we all move on, we all become better human beings with each passing day. And I think we all have the right to live a good life eventually, right? So if there is anybody else who's causing harm to you, then please stand up and walk out if you need to. In a very mature, in a very silent manner, in a very gracious way, walk out. Don't make it difficult for anybody else because we are nobody to harm somebody else as much as we are nobody to harm ourselves or nobody else should be harming us. Remember to do it in the most graceful manner if you do something like that. Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your amazing feedback. How to tackle a narcissistic person and a verbal abuser. Like I said, stand up. It's time to stand up and silently, peacefully, in a low tone, in a loving tone, tell the person that enough is enough and it's time for me to take a turn. I think a lot because sometimes it's good to walk out of some situations only because it's a peace of mind for you, it's a peace of mind for the other also. Okay, or else there are times when you getting into your, you just introspecting or going inwardly and becoming silent helps a lot too. So sometimes it's a lot of work, or most times, 90% of the times, it's a lot of work and change that we need to do within us than trying to tackle a person on the outside. So if you start changing that approach towards your own self, I think it's going to make it far more easier outside. If anybody I have missed your questions, please copy paste it. I think I've gone through most of it. Mm, yeah, I think that's about it from my side, guys. If I hope you guys have had something that you're learning and something that you're taking back. It's been brilliant because it's so nice to see that, on an open forum where there's no confidentiality of names and we can see each other's names. However, you all are opening up, which shows that you have somewhere matured, with time, with age, with what's happening in our external environment, and you are also accepting of your own feelings and wanting to come out from where you are, which is the first step of growth. So, kudos to you guys that you all are actually taking this step to voice out what you're feeling or voice out the challenges that you're facing with people who you are living around with, and also want to come out of it. Remember that I'm always there because I really, really care for people. And that's been my journey since I was 13 years old. I decided to be in this field when I was 13 years old, and since then I've enjoyed being there. I do my little bit of whatever I can in whatever ways. I'm there on all social medias. I'm there on Instagram. I'm there on Facebook. I'm there on LinkedIn. Wherever you type Namrata Jain psychologist, I'm sure you'll find me, somewhere. Or you just Google it and you'll find all my links there as well. But remember to put it as Namrata Jain psychologist because there are a lot of Namrata Jains at sea. So I think just putting it as a psychologist, it will get me on the top of the list for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you, Mohana. Thank you, Shakupa. Thank you so much, guys. One thing, Swarnali, that I'd want from you is that I am on my phone right now and I can't take a nice screenshot picture of. If you can take a picture, I think I'd love to share it on my social
Sure, ma'am.
medias. And guys,
Absolutely.
I'm coming up with support groups. Do be a part of it if you really need to, or do share it with other people. Our social media posts are always around mental health and what difficulties people are going through, or if they are having free sessions, which I do often, like I'm doing this one. Let people attend the sessions. Maybe one line out of the whole session may make a change in their lives, which is very, very important for us to do as human beings. Because more than anything else, I think let's be good human beings at least. Okay, success, fame, money, everything can follow if you are a good human being at heart. I think the universe presents everything in front of you. So make sure that we do that two bits of ours. Over to you, Swarnali. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much,
Rishi is
ma'am,
also
for
there.
the wonderful session.
Ma'am, we have a small, token of gift for you. So we would love to present it. And Isha, over to you.
Oh, wow, you're going to show me something, is it? Do record this if it is something that you're going to say for me, because I'd love to have it go on social medias and share it. Oh, it's a presentation. Okay. Oh, how sweet. Very sweet. Thank you so much. That is very sweet of Team Road Track. I think I'd love it. Isha, do you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay,
Sorry.
so that was really a great session. We are thankful on behalf of Rotaract Club of Calcutta Majestic and RJ College to each and everyone for making this event pan out successfully. A big thanks to Namrata Jain ma'am for sharing so much information about mental health and suicide prevention. We are very grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time and showing up, ma'am. Huge thanks to the audience and spectators who have joined the meeting. I really hope that everyone will definitely take back a lot of lessons and follow them effectively. A very special thanks to Rotaract Club of Calcutta Majestic of District 3291 for collaborating with us. I hope we do more such wonderful projects ahead. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I take your leave, guys. I hope to stay connected with all of you all.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you so
sorry.
much.
I got disconnected. I'm so sorry.
Ma'am, हाँ
Can everyone
दीदी
turn their cameras so that we can
Okay,
take
yeah, everybody please switch on your cameras if you can.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was extremely a wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Aditi.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, ma'am.
Okay, bye everyone. Take care. Have a great
Bye,
evening.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone,
Everyone, please
fill up
fill up
the
the feedback links given in the chat box.
Thank you for the wonderful session, Retractors. You are doing a great job.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. It was really
Thank
an
you, sir.
inspiring and motivation session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a great day to have this kind of session.
Thank you.
Very informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I request all the participants to just fill the form so that we will get the certificate. We will provide you as soon as possible. Until then, do not leave the WhatsApp group. Thank you.